Hey guys, today is part 2 of the Ouija board stories, so let's go. Around the year 99, my sister Marion and her friend Lynn got involved with it. Lynn was pretty preoccupied with the death and the afterlife, especially after losing a close grandparent. It wasn't a big surprise that she got hooked on the Ouija board pretty hard for a while. At the time, Lynn and Marion would have been in 7th grade, and I was a freshman in high school. After a few months of hearing Marion mention Lynn and her Ouija board occasionally, I finally got the whole story from Lynn. Apparently she used the board by herself a lot, alone in her room. More often than not, she would contact the same individual, a male who went by DB. He used his initials because he was a Native American from the area, and he said she wouldn't have been able to pronounce his given name in his native language. She seemed to quite enjoy the relationship, for a lack of better words, with DB for months. Eventually though, things started to happening, for which she blamed him. Her stereo would go on and off by itself, which bothered her at night. Items would be seemingly tossed off her dresser, which couldn't be explained by the wind or anything. When she finally asked him if it was him who was responsible for these things, he admitted that he liked to dance very much. He would manipulate the stereo to find music, and when things flew off the dresser, it was by accident due to his dancing. Personally, the idea of having a free roaming spirit of a deceased Native American youth dancing and around my dresser would have really bothered me, but Lynn seems okay with it. Then one day, while Miriam was at Lynn's house, she lived around 10 houses down the street from us, they called me to ask if I could come over so they could show me how the board works, and convince me it was real. Before I left, for no reason at the time, I took off a little dove ring I wore sometimes to put it back in my trinket box. When I got to Lynn's house, she and Marion were already set up in their bedroom, with the board on the floor. I settled down and just watched them try to summon some spirits while willing to talk. They had their fingers on the planchette and I just watched. In a couple of minutes they were supposedly communicating with my grandfather. We had no relationship to speak of with him, since he passed away when their mother was only 14, but I asked some questions anyway to try out and to confirm it was him. I asked if he could see us where he was, and a few details about our family, and then I asked if he saw the same things we did from day to day. All the questions answered with yes. I asked, so what did I do today? It spelled out dove ring. Marion checked my hand out and asked why I wasn't wearing my ring today, and the planchette spelled out box. So it was kind of weird, but who knows, it could be that Marion noticed earlier when I wasn't wearing it and incorporated it to the little show. After I started getting uneasy, I asked them to wrap it up, and we said our goodbyes. Then a different energy seemingly took over. I honestly cannot remember what was said or done, I just remember getting upset during it. I asked them to make it stop. I yelled out to my grandfather to help chase it away, and as they were managing to get this thing to head to goodbye, a big poster fell off Lynn's wall. It made such a noise I jumped and snapped at them to put the damn board away. While they cleaned up, I picked up the poster and started looking for the push pins so I could put it back. I couldn't find them, because they were still in the wall. I said to them that something somehow tore this freaking poster right off the wall, because the push pins were still up there. However, when I checked for tear marks that should have been there on the top corners of the poster, it was completely intact, except for 2 tiny holes made by the pins. Obviously, the only explanation is that the pins were taken off of the wall, released the poster, and were put back into the wall. And just as obviously, there is no explanation at all, since we were the only 3 in the room when it fell. We even had the bedroom door closed. So I don't know what the hell happened in that room that day, but it was the last time I was there. I watched movies in her living room or swam in her pool from time to time, but never ever went back into her bedroom. So that was the story for today. See you next time. Bye bye.